welcome to my DLC Talk. I'm here to talk about the hospitality industry of India. Let's start with what the hospitality industry is. I mean, it's not new to all of you, but just a bit of fact and figures. The hospitality industry, travel and tourism including, contributes to a very, very large part of the GDP of the country. It's 8.5 to 8.8% now, and it will steadily grow as we imagine and as we presume. A bit of facts and figures, as I said. India ranks in the top 85 countries that contribute to the GDP via hospitality. India is number 10. This was in 2019, and of course, we are not even counting 2020 and 21. 22 is where it all starts from. This was just to brief you guys on what exactly hospitality is doing in India or for India. It also is the third largest contributor to the GDP via tourism, the others being China and Philippines. I'm sure you didn't know that, but this is where we get our facts and figures from, the WTTC. The hospitality industry in India is, as you know, related to travel, tourism, hotels and restaurants. When we talk about hospitality, actually most of us tend to think about hotels, which is not the truth. It is including restaurants too. So when we talk about hospitality, we'll talk about food or restaurants being a very, very important part. So let's see how the pandemic has changed. Unfortunately, change is a constant in every industry and also in the hospitality industry. But these changes came in a little earlier due to the pandemic. Let's talk about figures. The foreign tourist arrivals, because when we talk about hotels and restaurants or hospitality in general, we talk about travel and travel within and outbound. India has about 28 million tourists going out of the country, and about 16 to 18 million travel within the country, maybe even less, probably 14 million just traveling within the country. That is the domestic travelers. That has shifted drastically in the 2 years. You know that hospitality has been evolving, a very, very ever-evolving industry. But how has it evolved now? Trends have changed in every business. I'm not only talking about change as in the hospitality industry. We all know everybody's these past 2 years, which I think should be written off completely, but we have to stay with that. These 2 years have brought about a huge learning experience. These experiences are very enriching in some ways, very disturbing in others, but they have taught us many things. They've taught us lessons to be frugal. They've taught us lessons on how to survive, survival of the fittest, as they say, how to survive amongst the harshest of conditions. And what can be harsher than when you're completely shut down? So if you can actually sustain that, I think you've come out as a winner. Unfortunately, hospitality also attracted a lot of people who were not from the industry. I won't call them investors. I would call them as opportunity seekers who thought that hospitality industry, which it actually portrays to be a very, very glamorous and a very, 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 very enriching industry. It is enriching, but it's not glamorous for sure. What the visitor sees in hospitality when it visits a hotel or a restaurant, let's talk about, is on a Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a weekend. And they go and see the restaurant is completely packed and they say, fine, I think this is the best business to do. Try and come there on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you'll know the truth. That, unfortunately, they realize after they've pumped in their money by unscrupulous people who helped them to do that. And these were unfortunately, the people who have now gone out. It's very, very unfortunate, as I said, when we realize that almost 30 to 40% closures have been there. But if you want to see it on a brighter side, I think it's separated the men from the boys. The people who have been there, who know how to survive, have survived. Very, very unfortunate, but that's the truth. Let's talk about the truth only. Now, coming back to hospitality and how, I'm going to give you certain lines on what the hospitality industry is actually doing, how it is evolving, how it is ever evolving, but how is it evolved even more? Like every other business, I'm sure, but I'm not an expert in those, so I will talk only about this. How does the hospitality sector in India survive? What did it do to survive this really really lean period? You know about so many very big chains abroad who have shut down. We all hear, about really bad stories about how issues have happened, and this non-travel thing has forced people out of the business, and these are established businesses. So then I look about what has happened in India. Our closure or our failure in this has been much less than those abroad. That does not mean that because we got a helping hand, let me assure you that we would have liked a little more support from the government. We would have liked a lot of support from the government. Whatever little they could do is welcome, but we would have liked a little more. That would have helped the other 20, 25, 30, 40% people who sort of faded away to not actually have gone. But unfortunately, that is the truth. The Indian entrepreneur, whether it be from the top strata or from a startup, is by nature, if I can use the word, outside resilient. It would be jugadu. That would actually describe an Indian entrepreneur, whether he's a hotel owner or a restaurant owner or a startup or whatever. We all hear about Atiti Devo Bhavo, that is the guest is God, and that actually holds good. And that, I think, it is the underlining principle of our hospitality. We travel abroad, we travel to so many countries where we accept their standards. Their standards are nowhere near, I'm sorry to say, as an Indian standard. A small two-star hotel or a small ODP restaurant in India will give you more hospitality, more warmth, a more welcoming feeling than any other restaurant abroad. Whether I think the higher the echelons of Michelin stars go, the more impersonal the service gets. Of course, that's my take about it. I'm sure I don't know if you'll agree with it, but that's how it is. How I look at it. How do you separate hospitality sector in India from that abroad? How do you compare it? So, as I said, I think we are more resilient. We are more forthcoming. We are more adamant, and that actually helps us survive more. We are survivors. We are survival of the fittest, and that actually has helped us survive all this. Coming to that, very strong emotions about customers. Very deep rooted a bond with your customers. You will see. I'm sure you yourself must be going to so many places. I have certain restaurants I will go to if I have to eat, say, a particular kind of cuisine. I'm sure there are other restaurants serving that kind of food, but why do we go to one restaurant? Why do we go to one chain to stay? Why do we only stay in a certain chain all over India? Besides having your loyalty card, why do you only go to that place? Why do we travel by only one airline? Or we choose to travel by one airline? Why, when we go to that particular restaurant, why do we choose one table or a particular server to serve you? So that's that bond. It's an impersonal bond, but it's an invisible bond. But that bond is something that I think India has uniquely over and above the other countries. So that's how we are built. That's how we are. That's in our blood. And hospitality, that's why is in our blood. And that is why I think that hospitality in India is here to stay, here to evolve, here to grow. 2022 is actually where everything restarted back. How has it changed? How has the industry changed? Whenever business involves, it includes going out of the ordinary and attracting new things, attracting new trends, as we say, the keyword. So also in hospitality, I think there are a few trends. The most important of which I'll touch 2 or 3 of them from the past 2 years. How they have become different. How these trends have actually taken over the earlier trends in doing business, in the way people see what's happening in this hospitality and tourism sector. So the first trend would be that digitalization has taken, a very, very strong, very strong place. Contactless, QR codes. While I stress that hospitality and tourism is a very, very people's-based, sector. So hospitality is all about maintaining a contact and maintaining, your direct relationship with your guests. So in that way, digitalization has come in. It's come in a very, very good way, and it's being used in a very good way. So that is one trend. The other one is asset management. You have a hotel owned by one person. You have the franchisee, who's another person. You have a company running that hotel, lending its name. That is a third person. So this whole thing has changed. Earlier, I had a hotel. I was running it. I was running around. I was marketing it. I was doing this. Now there is social media. The web has actually changed a lot. It's brought in a very, very positive connotation, and something that was bound to happen probably a few years later has been pushed forward. So that's a good thing. That's another trend, asset management. And third would be sustainability. We were going towards sustainability slowly. Now we've just been kicked there. So it's been kick-started, which is very, very good. Sustainability, how to reduce your carbon footprint, more awareness to give back to the community what you make from it, without actually harming, farm to table and so many other things. So these are important trends. What has happened? When I spoke about technology, I also spoke about how it can't be work from home. A new concept and something that cannot be ignored is the metaverse. How hospitality industry has ventured into the metaverse. A short example, of course, while it's here to stay, I think it's a trend. I don't think I think it's a fad. It probably as related to only the hospitality industry. I'm not talking about anything else. I don't understand buying a hotel room and not being able to stay in it. I don't understand, ordering a butter chicken or a steak on metaverse and not being able to eat it. If I can't eat it, I'd much rather just go to Pinterest and just have a wonderful picture and satisfy myself. How am I going to satiate myself? What do I do after that? After seeing a plate of a lovely ribeye steak, do I go and eat a coleslaw sandwich? It's not going to satisfy myself. So while it can be used to as a precursor to your visit, seeing your hotel room in a much better way, being able to see what kind of restaurant it is, what kind of food it gives. That, yes, as far as that is related, I think metaverse is fine. Hospitality is a very people's-driven, it's a very, very, very personal, contact-driven industry. What really came out from this was domestic tourism. We were till now, in India and abroad, dependent largely on foreign tourists. Whenever the government spoke about tourism, it always says foreign tourist arrivals. It always said, foreign exchange. I think it's high time we focused on domestic tourism. With 28 million outbound tourists and 12 or 14 million inbound, 11 million, 14 million inbound. There are varying agency figures on that. Let's stick to maybe 13, 14 million. That's almost a double of people who travel out. If we can even convert that, those 50% of those 28 million would be another 14 million to stay and travel within India itself. How good would that be? You're not losing foreign exchange. Those people are spending much less in India for an experience which is much, much, much better. You can get a fantastic room and service here in any chain or small time or larger property than you can get abroad. You get more attention. you get you get more personalized service, you get everything that is better in India. You have much more opportunities in India. Another thing that has come up is cruise tourism. I think we are that's a huge potential which we needed to be cracked, and it is being done by the year 2030 to attract only 1.2 million visitors via the cruise way. I think it can be more than that. At present, we stand at 11 to 12 million paltry tourists from out of the country. Things have started coming back faster than we expected, actually, and I'm happy to be proven wrong that it'll take us 3 years to get back. I think it'll take us just 1.5 now if everything remains okay. Yes, hospitality comes with certain issues, but we can overcome them. Just running by what the issues are is, staffing is a big issue. We don't have so many high-end institutes to train. So we are building that. FHRA has a state-of-the-art IHM institute in Noida in 8 acres, which is doing its job as an IHM, the only private institute which is being given the government nod to become an IHM. And we need more institutes like that. We need more training in skilled, unskilled, and semi-skilled staff. This is the time to get into the hospitality business, whether it's hotels or restaurants. This is the time to tie up with professionals and do it. Don't try to do it on your own, because any different business to undertake under your belt without a professional help, well, you're the best judge of that. So the government is open about it. The states are very welcoming. Domestic and foreign tourists is coming up. Foreign tourism will take a little time, but they'll come up soon as countries open up. But domestic tourism is all-time high. So this is the right time to get into this kind of business. And when you get into this business, remember, you need to focus on certain things. You need to focus on guest expectations, which have risen. The tangibles. What are you delivering? What are the things that they get? How reliable is your brand, whether it's a hotel or a restaurant? How responsible are you towards the environment, towards your guests? What are the assurances you give? Are you assuring the best services? Are you assuring them loyalty? And security? How secure does the guest feel when he comes into your hotel? Does he feel secure from any kinds of invasions, whether it's a pandemic or it's any other kind of invasion? And that's what actually gets back to customer loyalty. That's how it makes one guest loyal. Let's take this tourism to new heights. It involves entrepreneurs, and it is a people's driven business. We require that guests should come and guests should meet up. And in one short line, I think the future of hospitality is absolutely bright. Thank you, DLC, for allowing me to get in touch with so many people. And let's all take this and DLC together to higher venues. Thank you very much.